Hi, and welcome back to the challenge. Today I'm really stoked to have a guest back from last year. This is Beth. Welcome back, Beth.
Hi, happy to be back.
It's good to have you back. So last year we had Beth on the channel as a way to have a more realistic view of what it would look like for somebody who is newer to the practice but very dedicated, like many of you are. Because when we have Stacy or someone it's like someone who's been practicing yoga for like decades or whatever. So it's been beneficial. I think we got a lot of positive comments last year to see what it would look like for Beth. And Beth, you were telling me yesterday that you feel like just through practicing yoga, I mean, how did you put it?
Oh, I said that I feel like my body mechanics are better at this age, nearly 60, than they were in my 30s, thanks to my practice and practicing with you and really learning how to move my body appropriately.
Yeah, and that's a hard skill to learn, and it's also sometimes we get comments of like, oh, well, this isn't really challenging, and then sometimes I'll meet people, and once they get their practice tweaked and they start using the right muscles, then they realize, oh my gosh, just doing down dog is like I'm sweating just from doing down dog the right way, from using my muscles the right way. So Beth has really dedicated a lot of energy to focusing and making sure that she's working the poses the right way. And the last thing that I'll say is a great way to make sure that you're doing this in your practice is by taking a little more time to look at the poses and dedicating a little more time, which is what we do in the conscious movement community. So I'm going to put that link below where you can check that out. And it's kind of like what's next after the challenge when you're ready to move a little deeper, do longer practices, etc. So let's begin today in child's pose. So in child's pose, just let your hips release back and down onto your heels. Your big toes are together. The knees are just wide enough for your ribs to fit in between. And just start to become familiar with your breath pulse, how you feel your breath moving, your breath print, your own unique breath print. Just observe what's happening with the breath without trying to change it at first. Now energize your arms, lengthen the arm muscles, press down into your hands, turn on the arms, and walk your hands over to the right. We'll get a little side stretch. Now as you walk over to the right, let your left hip sit back and down, breathe into your side ribs. Walk your hands over to the left. Come back to center. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Slide your hands right underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And as you inhale, tip your sit bones up, start to wheel your chest forward. And exhale, round your back. 2 more times, move with your breath. Then come into neutral spine, put your right hand behind your head, and as you inhale, turn your chest open up to the right. Exhale, twist, elbow towards your forearm. Inhale, open up, turn your chest, keeping your hips as stable as you can. Exhale, twist. Inhale, open up. And exhale, twist. Change sides, right hand down, left hand behind your head. Inhale, open and turn your chest. Exhale, elbow to forearm. Inhale, open up and turn. Exhale, elbow to forearm. Last one, inhale, open up, and exhale, twist. Bring your hand down, and one leg at a time, step back into plank pose. So as you hold in your plank, opportunity to strengthen your mountain pose posture, your core, and as you press down through your toes, feel your thigh bones lift, hips firm in and down towards your heels. Open up across your collarbones. Feel your blades on your back, your ribs in. Then maintaining this plank, bring your right knee up to your chest without your back rounding. And change legs, bring your left knee up. Change, bring your right knee up. Change, bring your left knee up. Stretch that leg back and glide back into downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank pose. Exhale, stretch back into dog. Inhale forward into plank pose. Exhale, stretch back into dog. Inhale into plank, last one. Exhale, stretch back into down dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, bow forward. Reach down through your feet, and as you inhale, come all the way up to stand. Spread your arms, raise your arms up. Good, then bring your arms down at your side. Mountain pose. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into plank pose. Lower down slowly into low plank chaturanga. Pause. Lift back up into plank. Lower all the way onto your belly. One thing you might notice is Beth's chaturanga got way better. We'll have to do before and after pictures. Stretch your arms all the way forward. Reach back through your toes. And then exhale, bend your elbows back into cactus position. Good, hold there. Feel the traps spread. Upper traps broad. Feel your external rotators turned on, your chest spreading. Then stretch your arms straight back behind you. Good, lower your chest down. Press up into plank pose. Stretch back into dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back, elongate. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back, get length. Step back into plank pose. Hold strong in your plank. Bring your right knee up to your chest without rounding. Change, left knee up to your chest. Change, right knee up. Change, left knee up. Stretch that leg back and lower down onto your belly. Reach your arms forward. Inhale, reach back through your toes, forward through your fingers. Exhale into cactus position. Hold there in cactus. Feel the backs of the arms turn on. Lower your chest down. Press up into plank pose. Glide back into down dog. Last one, walk your feet all the way forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up, press to your feet, raise your arms up. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into plank. Hold there. Keep those blades on your back as you bring your right knee up to your chest. Feel your lats engaged, but keep your ribs in. Now, I actually want you to flex your spine. Pull your belly up, round your back, but keep your shoulder blades broad. Good, now pull up a little bit higher, and then back into plank. Bring your left knee up. Now start to round, pull up, but keep your blades broad right here. This is something that we've been working on, trying to get the tops of the blades to spread as you're rounding here in the lower back. Tuck your buttock, lift, and stretch back. Nice. Then lower all the way onto your belly. Inhale into cobra pose. Good, so as you hold in cobra, less from the lower back and from the neck, and more just thinking like you have a knee in your upper back that you're trying to wrap around. Let your chest muscles spread. Then from there, come up into upward facing dog. Same feeling, get length to your neck and your lower back, and stretch back into downward facing dog. Raise your right leg up behind you without your ribcage sinking. The higher the leg goes, the more the middle wants to drop. Keep the opening across the tops of your blades too. Then shift into plank, pull your knee up to your chest, lift up, step your foot up by your thumb. Hug your right hip in. Good, so that's a movement that we have a lot of difficulty with as we come to yoga, just trying to get your foot up. And the better you get at the flexing exercise, what we were just doing right before, that's gonna help. As you pin your hip in, come up into crescent, raise your arms up. Now take your arms forward, straight out in front of you. And if you have a block handy, a foam block would be helpful. Hold it in between your hands like so. As you press into your hands, spread your collarbones, and then raise your foam block up towards the sky. If you got one of these wood blocks, it's gonna be pretty gnarly. So as your arms go up, press all the knuckles into it, turn your triceps in, turn your triceps on. Keep your core engaged, and then lift your sternum up as you raise your foam block all the way up towards the ceiling. Good, and make sure that you don't lose the space here for the arm nerves to flow from the neck into the arms, outer blades spreading, lifting. Good, then bring your foam block back down to the ground and set up your back foot for warrior one. Good, aim your hips straight back again. From your strong core, come up, lift up through the midline, go straight up and raise the arms up. Take your arms forward again like you're holding the block, push into your back heel, and then raise your arms up, keeping your low back tall. Bring your hands back down to the mat, step back into plank pose. Hold in your plank or do a chaturanga push-up. Nice, good job. And stretch back into downward facing dog. Second side, raise your left leg up without your middle sinking. Just notice the tendency of this bottom rib ring to want to sink. Still keeping the blades broad, push into your hands, shift into plank, pull your knee up, flex your spine, pull up, and lift your foot up by your thumb as best you can. This is the tricky side. Oh, good. Once you get the foot up, move your hip crease back and your heart forward, elongate. Get right in the center of that left heel. Then as you fire your glute med, come on up through the midline. So we learned that Beth has a tighter hip and weaker glute med side on the left side. So there's just some like tension in the glute and in the front of the hip, and then that glute med isn't working as well as those other muscles are trying to take over. So as she's gotten better at strengthening the glute med, getting the hip to open, her posture's become better and she's better at coming up in that line. Arms forward, straight out in front of you, Hold your foam block in between your hands. Open up across your collarbones. And then slowly start to raise your arms up. Feel all of your knuckles pressing into the block. Feel your triceps turn forward and turn on. Then bring your block back down to the ground. Set up your back foot for warrior one. Then what happens? The hip wants to swing out. Turn the hip in and on again. And then come up through the middle. Use your strong core muscles. Good. Arms forward one more time. Straight out. Engage. And then raise the arms up like you're holding the block again. Just notice the higher the arms go up, the more your upper body will try to sink back to avoid it. Good. Hands back down to the mat. Step back into plank. Hold there or lower slow into low plank. And lift back up. Downward facing dog. Glide back. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, find a flat back. Get length. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees. Sit your hips back. Raise your arms up. Good, then we'll do the ankle check. Got the center heels down, inner ankles lifting up. Now take your arms forward and see if you can sit a little deeper into your chair. Hold there, scoop your belly, and then raise your heart and your arms up one more time. Good, come up to stand, mountain pose. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit back. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into downward facing dog or take a vinyasa, up to you. From down dog, step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, come up through the midline. Open up to your side, warrior two. Oh, let's do the hooky arm. You know the hooky arm over? You want to do that one? Okay, so we're going to go into side angle now and hook your right elbow onto the front of your knee, left hand on your hip for a moment. So whenever when we tend to lean over for something, there's a tendency to hunch over. So once you get that forearm hooked like Beth's doing, can you get long through your right side ribs and your waist? And then without losing any of the length, take your left arm over. The weight of the left arm will make you want to collapse over. Try not to let it happen. Press down through your feet. Stand on your legs to support you. Breathe through your nose. Practicing now your breath and your drishti while you're practicing your alignment. Then press into your feet and come back up into warrior two. Straighten your right leg and reach into triangle pose. Press down through your back heel. Find your mountain pose line, like your back's up against the wall feeling. Feel your right thigh turning out in the hip socket. Good, now bend your right knee. And we're gonna do multiple step-ups into Ardha Chandrasana. So go hand to the block or wherever you like. Step your back foot a little closer. Now before you step up, feel your right outer hip engage, the knee track, and then start to open up your chest to the side towards the trees. If you have trees over there on your side. Okay, so keep the chest open and then raise your back leg up. Good. And then feel once you get up, as you grip this outer hip muscle like you're making a fist, could you open the front of your pelvis more? Then bend your right knee and step back into the mini, the mini side angle. Step back there, hand onto the block. Good. And then step back into Ardha Chandrasana. Put your hand and foot in front of your pinky toe. Without the right knee caving in, step up to balance. Raise your back leg up to hip height. Then as you squeeze in with those right outer butt muscles, start to open up. Now we want to feel the external rotators really turn on to help to open you up. So it's different than the neutral day where we're working the glute med. Bend your right knee. That's the other one. And then step back into warrior two, smooth as you can. Good, find warrior two, breathe through your nose. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step back into downward dog or out of vinyasa, up to you. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, raise your arms up. Open up to your side, Vira two. Get your left thigh to turn all the way out so your knee is tracking. And to make sure your back foot is angled in a little bit so that that can happen. Then let's go for the hooky arm. Reach out over your leg, hook that forearm just in front of your knee, right hand on your hip for a moment. Steer your hips back towards your back heel, and as you hook that elbow, grow your left outer side rib away from your hip. Then take your right arm all the way over without your chest collapsing onto your leg. Press into your feet, come back up into warrior two. Then straighten your left leg, but as you straighten it, make sure your thigh is turned so that your knee is tracking with your second, third toe. Reach out over your leg. As you're reaching, the leg will want to twist back in. Keep turning it out, right arm up. A lot of activity going on around the location today. Okay, so as you push in that back heel, get long to the, Ollie does not like it, through the line of your back ankle. You tell him, bear. Good, then let's go for Ardha Chandrasana. Bend the knee, we're gonna do the two-step. Slide the hand in front of your pinky toe. Now wait, before you go up, can you turn that thigh, hug the hip in, and then lean into your foot without losing that? Start to raise your back leg. Now look how Beth keeps all her core muscles turned on so the spine stays long. She knows very well not to go into slouchasana. That will, 2 points will be deducted by the Romanian judge as well as the Czechoslovakian. It's for the yoga Olympics. Okay, then from here, bend your left knee, that's the bottom leg, and then slide back into the mini side angle. Hand onto the block. Hold there. Good. Turn that hip back again. Then right hand on your hip. One more time. Slide your hand and step up without that hip swinging out. Firm that hip in, turn that thigh. Ooh, this is the tough side, but Beth's doing a good job of keeping it working. And so one thing that you'll notice is that Beth went slower on the side where it's more challenging. Instead of just going into her old rut, when we move with speed, we tend to fall back into our ruts, our old grooves. If we really want to change the way something moves, we have to slow down and become more conscious of it until it becomes second nature. Bend your left knee and then slide back as smooth as you can into warrior two. Now I've realized that everything I do tends to be weird, so that's why I move so slow throughout the whole practice. If you're wondering why my videos are so slow. Okay, hold that warrior two and then smooth with control, bring your hands down to the mat and step back, downward dog or take a vinyasa. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, chair pose, bend knees, sit your hips back. Bring hands to prayer and sit back deeper in your chair, twist to your right. Press the elbow down, lift your heart away from your hips. Good, breathe through your nose. Now see if you can drop your hips an inch, but then lift your chest up 2 more inches, away from your knees. Come back to chair pose. Arms up. Hands to prayer. Twist to your left. Look at how good you're doing with the ankles. This is my favorite one. If someone's figured out how to get the ankles to support the legs, the leg muscles to work. And back to chair pose. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Squat down for crow pose. Then put your hands down, hook your knees into your outer upper arms, and lean into Bakasana. Let's do it. We're going to practice it. Really? She's like, I don't do crow. What are you talking about? Okay, so the hands go right underneath the shoulders. Now, here are these 2 different actions that we've really been working on is to try to keep this space and engage more from here. And we're working with the knee pull-in thing. So let's see what it looks like for someone who's really practicing it. So go ahead, start to lean into your hands. See if you can keep that space and really tuck from here. Keep that butt low, scoop up your feet, and I'm going to catch you if you go too far. Tuck those abs, same muscles to pull that knee up. Good. Nice job. Lie down on your back. So that's what it's all about at first, just trying to get the muscles to make the mind-muscle connection. Lie on your back and stretch your arms all the way overhead. Push through your heels, reach through your fingers. And then as you exhale, crunch up and lift your legs up. Curl up, arms forward, and take the legs up. Good, now stay crunched up, put your hands behind your head. And especially since we're working on getting those upper abdominals to strengthen, which are important for getting into the arm balances. Keeping those upper abdominals turned on. The lower abdominals control the legs. Slowly lower your right leg without your right side lower belly following. Upper abdominals prevent your neck from overworking. So really feel it in those upper abs instead of like you're jamming your neck. Then slowly change legs. Oh, those upper abs wanting to give up. Come on, squeeze those. Slowly change legs. Come on, curl up, squeeze here. That's it. Slowly change legs. Good, just 40 more. Okay, so last one. Slowly change legs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Change legs. Squeeze. Both legs up, head down. Great job. Now just to get some low abs, plant your hands next to your side. Stretch your legs straight up into the air. And then tuck your low abdominals towards your chest and lift your hips up. Good. And lower your hips back down. Now hands behind your head. Last one, tuck your pubic bone towards your chest, push your feet straight up, and then crunch up. We'll add the upper abs now too, and hold for 5, 4, tuck that buttock up, 3, 2, and release. Good job. Put your hands next to your side. Press down into your heels and lift your hips up, bridge pose. Good, roll the inner thighs down towards the floor. Pretend like you're squeezing in on a block with your legs. Now with your arms, like Beth's doing, we'll do these robot arms. I want you to seal your whole upper arm bone down into the ground from the shoulder head towards the elbow. And when you do that, feel your back muscles engage, but don't tense up your neck. Flow the neck long, relax the jaw and the tongue. Lower your hips down as you inhale. Exhale, come back up. Good, now seal that upper arm bone down and then stretch the hands out along the ground without losing the upper arm bone. The shoulder will want to roll in, don't let it happen because you're tight chest muscles. Now hold here, or for the most flexible flexies, you go into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Otherwise, just hold for 5 more breaths. Beth, can you walk your feet in just a little bit more under your knees? There you go. Now get that tailbone up. Lower yourself back down. Good job. Now open your arms out to the side. Cross your right knee over your left knee. Shift your hips over to the right a little bit, and then let your knees fall over to your left. Now this is a little more intense of a twist than when we do the ankle to knee one. So if the ankle to knee one feels better on your low back, like if you have any lower back issues, I recommend that one opposed to this one. But if you like the depth, the increased intensity of this one, that's fine to do too. Come back to center, change the cross of your legs. Hips over to the left, knees over to the right. So realistically, someone who's very, very dedicated in their yoga practice, changing the body from things that have piled on from years and years and years of postural habits is slow, but progress can be made. And one of the things that I think that you'll notice if you watch last year's challenge with Beth versus this year's is that she's getting way better mobility in her thoracic spine. Like her up dog looks night and day different. The down dog, how the shoulders activate, how she activates her arms and she's not sinking anymore. The rib cage is sinking less. She's more in her core. What else? Oh, chaturanga. Well, you got to watch the chaturanga from last year. Isn't it so different? You know it's different, right? Come back to center and take happy baby. So one of the things is that, which is really common, is that people lack the core and upper body strength just to do a chaturanga push-up without the shoulders or the middle sinking. And so that's something that we've worked on, getting the upper body strength to eventually do it. And it took a little bit, but it looks great now. Stretch your legs out for Shavasana. Arms at your side, let your feet fall open. So take a deep breath in through your nose, fill your lungs from the bottom all the way up to the top, and then let it out. Completely relax now. Then gently bend your knees. Roll over to your right side. And press yourself up to seated. Look at this one over here. All right, bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. So the last thing that I want to share about Beth, is it okay if I say your work history, your background?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so one of the things is that Beth, years and years in nursing, and with those helping professions, we can end up depleted, not giving back to ourselves. So the yoga practice, I've seen it be, again, transformational, just in that Beth has acquired more and more of a glow and a radiance, like a filling of her own spirit. Would you agree?
Definitely.
Is there anything else you want to say to the community?
Just that stick with Tim. He has changed my life inside out.
Oh, thank you. Checks in the mail. Had to pay her for that one. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.